welcome to my next video for my Doctor Who December. Okay, I'm very nervous about these videos. I'm very nervous. Everybody's very opinionated about what episodes are good, what episodes are bad. And if I have been known for anything when it comes to my Doctor Who reactions, it's the fact that you can almost count on, whenever there's a lot of people who say like the next episode's the worst, it's the worst. Like it's become a running joke on my channel that means I'll probably love it. So I want to just say, listen, this is my opinion. This is my ranking. I'm not treating it as gospel or anything like that. I don't want to say the definitive ranking. No, none of that. My ranking of episodes that I've enjoyed. Okay, so I really wanted to actually do these videos when I finished with the RTD era of Doctor Who. But if those of you who were around my channel back then, you guys know that I watched, the end of time, and then I, moved and got stuck in a hotel for months, and there was just situations before I got into this place. And as soon as I got here and got my furniture, I was like, I gotta just jump into season 5 because you people have waited long enough, and all of that, and but I've been wanting to do these videos for a while, so I'm very, very excited to do them for this, Doctor Who December. Now, these videos, I believe, will be in the form of 5 different countdown videos, and they're going to be kind of scattered throughout the Doctor Who December. They're not going to be right back to back. So yeah, just, to look out for those if you really, really like these kind of countdown videos. And I hope that you guys can kind of maybe make your own list. Just so you guys know, I'm doing this kind of more so not really by episodes, but by stories. So if there are 2-parters, or in one case a 3-parter, that's going to be all inclusive. I was going to keep them separated, but it just didn't. I just didn't do it. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be kind of the longest video out of all of them. It was kind of a weird number. It was 46 stories in the RTD era, so this is the first 16 or the last 16, depending on how you think about it. This is a countdown to my favorites, so obviously I'm going to be starting with the ones that maybe I didn't like as much. But what was really cool about these videos is the fact that I rewatched all of the episodes. Some of them I was like, God, I wish I put myself on camera, because some of them were, some of them got really great with a rewatch. Some of them improved a little bit with a rewatch. Some of them, nothing. I don't think I liked anything less with a rewatch, but you know what I mean. Some kind of stayed the same. So yeah, this is my, ranking of the episodes or stories, so to speak, in the RTD era. Number 46 on the list, and in last place, I guess, I hate to put something there, but something had to go there, is Fear Her. I believe that the concept wasn't that bad, but I was just not feeling the whole drawings coming to life thing, and all in all, it just wasn't really anything that ever stood out to me, and even in a rewatch, I forgot it fairly quickly. So, I hate to do it, but something has to be in the last spot, and that is it. Number 45 on the list is Aliens of London and World War III. I think this was probably the episode that inhibited me to really, take Doctor Who seriously for a good long while, if you want to go back to those reactions. I'm not sure you do. I can't imagine they were that exciting. But it, I liked the build-up at the beginning, especially when I rewatched it. It was kind of interesting, and it seemed, but I can't with the farting aliens. I just can't with the farting aliens. And funny story, my dad actually, you know, I've said on my channel that my dad has been going through Doctor Who at a snail's pace. I think he gave up after a while. I don't know. Anyway, but he was going through Doctor Who, and he kind of asked my mom if she wanted to watch an episode with him. And this was the two-parter. Not that he chose it. It was just the next episode that he was watching. But that was this has been the only episode that my mom watched. And she promptly after said, no, thank you ever again. So, I don't know. I think it was just a little too campy, especially the execution towards the end. And that's why it's not very high on my list. Number 44 on the list is Daleks in Manhattan and the evolution of the Daleks, kind of two-parter. I just do not find it very memorable, which is really sad because it took place in New York and I was like so excited for New York, and it sort of fell flat. I wasn't a big fan of the pig people. I kind of have this sort of, I mean, there were a handful, but I felt like a lot of Martha stories in general were slightly on the mediocre side, and this one, it just didn't even stand out even for having Daleks involved. Number 43 on the list is The Idiot's Lantern. Now, I feel like, to me, I felt like the concept of the episode was interesting. However, I had a bit of a hard time kind of connecting to the characters, and it just, you know, again, a little bit on the forgettable side, but I did like that they did do a little bit of a spotlight, which I kind of forgot, but went in rewatches, they did a little bit of a spotlight on, you know, kind of abuse in the family home and facing that, so that's why I kind of edged out the others a little bit. Number 42 on the list is the Sontaran stratagem. I said that right? Right? I don't know, maybe. And the Poison Sky. I don't want to touch this episode with a 10-foot pole. I did rewatch it, and I gotta say, I love Martha, I love Donna, so there are definitely parts that I particularly like, but, you know, as, you know, most of the time in good ways, the interaction that I have with you guys kind of affects, you know, it's kind of comes with reacting. The interaction that I have with you guys with episodes kind of makes me feel certain ways about certain episodes, and this was the not so pleasant. I don't want to get into it. It just, you know, wasn't the most pleasant experience on my channel, and I'm just gonna move on right from there. Number 41 on the list is the Lazarus experiment. Again, it fell into kind of the category of fairly forgettable, but, you know, Mycroft showed up, and this was, when I originally watched this episode, it was pre-Sherlock, and Mycroft is my favorite in Sherlock, so, you know, I had a little bit of fun watching it again. The CGI was kind of really bad, and I feel, again, great concept, but not the best execution, just in my opinion. Number 40 on the list is the Shakespeare Code, and I feel really terrible saying that it's this low on the list because I'm actually a very, very big fan of Shakespeare, so I was really excited to see Shakespeare pop up. You know what I mean? Like, I just got really excited about it, but unfortunately, there were some moments that I really enjoyed, and even on rewatch, I think I liked it better on rewatch, but again, it was just, I feel like they could have done a little bit more with a Shakespeare story than what we actually got. Number 39 on the list is The Long Game. Okay, so what was interesting is I really had to rewatch The Long Game. Like, I remembered little to nothing about it. So probably more so than any other one was the one that I said, I don't even remember that, and Simon Pegg's in it, and it was just weird. The one thing, and why it kind of got a little bit higher than a couple of the other stories that I felt maybe fell flat for me or not as memorable, was because of the fact is the way that they kind of dealt with Adam. It's kind of ballsy. I mean, at the time, I don't think I really knew about, companions and exits. It was all very new to me, and everything just got thrown at me, and I was like, what the hell is all of this? And the way that they handled that was a little intense and kind of terrifying, and I don't know, I felt like they kind of had, some balls to pull that off, and so that's why that kind of edged out a little bit. Number 38 on the list, and now we're getting to the point where I feel like most of the stories are fairly memorable, that I liked them for the majority of it, but yeah, this one is New Earth, which I remember when I got to it, a lot of people said that they really, really loved, and so, the story of my life. I thought that the acting was really fun. I loved that. I think, and I believe that I felt this the first time around, I wasn't the biggest fan of the ending. And it was okay. It was a fun story, but it wasn't kind of my favorite to start off a kind of new companion doctor pair. But I believe that I'm very much in the minority of that. Number 37 on the list is, and I think I'm getting to the point where it's starting to be blasphemy that these things are so low, but it is the Unquiet Dead. As I was rewatching these episodes, I kind of realized it takes a special something for me to like the ones that really go back in time to meet kind of a actual person, with, Charles Dickens and stuff like that. Those are not my favorite stories in general. I tend to like going more so into space than I like, going back in time, with maybe the exception of Vincent and stuff like that. So it was great. I thought it was a nice story, but at the end of it all, I said, oh, that was a sweet story. I can see how it could be some people's favorites. It just happens to not really be my cup of tea. Number 36 on the list is Planet of the Dead. It was so strange to place this because it's not like I didn't enjoy watching it. We're getting to the point where I'm starting to actually really like the episodes, especially on a rewatch. It was one of those things that I felt like the characters were really great and it had such great potential, but I felt like there was a lot of buildup for a villain that I never really got a payoff for. But nonetheless, there were still such great teasers in it, and it served its purpose of, I think, being kind of a really fun special. Though I gotta say, for me, out of the specials that I watched, out of those 5 specials, it was probably the weakest for me, but it was still a kind of fun story, and the characters were really great. Number 35 on the list, waiting for the hate comments, is the Christmas Invasion. It did not stand out to me out of the Christmas specials. However, I believe from the skewed, I kind of only go by your comments, what people like and what people don't like, that it's probably everybody's favorite Christmas special or close to. What I gotta say about it, though, is the introduction of, or the ending kind of standoff, or whatever you want to call it, with the 10th Doctor, David Tennant's Doctor, was absolutely amazing, and even better on a rewatch, or I just didn't remember it that much the first time. It could be that. It was a while ago. And it was really, really kind of fun, and I gotta say, leading up to that, not my favorite Christmas special, but that moment kind of just, blew it all out of the water. And I did really like the ending with Harriet and the Doctor, and there being this conflict between the two. I really like that stuff a lot. And yeah, so as much as it's not my favorite Christmas special, it was definitely a lot more fun on a rewatch. Number 34 on the list, just know that the rest of this video's episodes that I'm about to talk about are probably regarded as favorites that I just not really for me. I'm sorry, I apologize. Oh God, okay, and that is The Doctor's Daughter. Now, it was interesting because I actually felt a lot more emotion between the Martha and Peck relationship and scene than I did with the Doctor and Jenny. I didn't feel too much of a connection with Jenny, though I'm sure David Tennant disagrees. But for me, it was a sweet story. It was, okay, but especially in season 4, it falls very flat after, with a lot of other episodes that I actually enjoyed a lot more. But I understand why a lot of people love it. It's just, I think the connection for me with Jenny wasn't there, and that kind of is the driving force of the story. Number 33 on the list, and one of the ones that improved greatly with a rewatch, was Tooth and Claw. That is just a fun episode. I mean, it's terrifying, it's scary, the CGI isn't too bad, things are pretty good, and it was just a really good, fun adventure, which is kind of, one of the types of stories that I really, really like. And I remember going into it when I did my rewatch, I said, oh God, I feel like I'm not gonna like this. I don't know, maybe I will or whatever. It set up Torchwood and stuff like that. And it was, it improved greatly in my mind after a rewatch. Number 32 on the list, and I hate to put a finale story in the first video. I really do, but I'll explain why. And it is the 3-parter at the end of season 3, Utopia, Sound of the Drums, and The Last of the Time Lords. I try to remember that without looking down. Let me talk about why it does not hit home for me. And I gotta say, Utopia I thought was amazing, but even though, if you go and watch my reaction to Utopia, and it was weird because I think everybody, I think I had some people say like, why weren't you excited? I'm like, I don't know who the master is. When I started Doctor Who, I did not have any prior knowledge to the show. So it kind of, I was like, it's the music's building and there's some shit and oh man. But I don't know who that is. And so I thought it was, for me, that kind of fell flat a little bit. And the Master just has never really been my favorite villain. Though I love John Sim in the way that he seems like a great person to play it. He just hasn't really seemed to be my favorite. But yeah, it's interesting. I liked kind of the story with Martha, that she walked the earth and like all of that. I didn't like the ending. And I hate to say it, I really do, but it was not my favorite ending to any of the seasons, which is kind of, I really liked the dynamic between the Doctor and Martha and stuff. And, but I mean, we have to talk about the shining moment for me was the face of Beau possible reveal. That was really, really cool and such a great moment. So, I mean, and I was stunned, and so, it's not really all that bad. And number 31 on the list, which is where we're going to end this portion of the list, is fittingly Rose. I feel like Rose is a decent story. It's a simple story, but I feel like that's important. I feel like Rose needed to focus on introducing the Doctor back and the companion. This was a really interesting one for me to rewatch because obviously when I first watched Rose, I had no idea anything about Doctor Who. I had no idea that he was even the 9th Doctor. Like, I didn't know anything. except I think I knew that there was a police box and that there was like somebody called a companion, but I didn't know what a companion was. And it was interesting to kind of go through it again with all of the knowledge that I have about Doctor Who. And I felt like it was a nice introduction. It was again, like I said, a simple story, but I think that that was necessary for it. And of course, what I did really, really love was that it introduced me to my love, Mickey. And of course, I mean, that's always a good thing, right? I mean, I understand. I get it. You guys don't think Mickey is as good as I do. Nobody does. But, you know, I don't care. Just, you know, you guys think that the episode title's name is Rose, and in my mind it's Mickey. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think it kind of went a little farther up on the list because of the fact that I feel it goes down in history and as an iconic moment where they revived the show. And if it went really, really badly, then maybe things wouldn't have gone as well. I don't know. But it was interesting, and I really, really, yeah, I enjoyed rewatching that one a lot. All right, so that is the end of this first part. I thought this would be kind of a fun video and give you guys a little bit of insight into the stories that I really liked and the stories that I really disliked or whatever. Yeah, and that's about it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow. Bye!